Jersey. Gina, you ready? Beer Board meeting called to order. Roll call, please.
Councilman Cleaver.
Here.
Councilman Foster.
Here.
Councilman Harrell.
Here.
Councilman Gann.
Here.
Councilman Hatmaker.
Here.
Councilman Manus. Mayor Burton.
Here. Do we hear a motion for the approval and the review of the minutes of the previous meeting dated January 27th, 2025?
So moved. Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. No old business before us. Under new business, we have a request for a Class C on-premise beer permit from Hammocks, Jason and Arisha. Hammock, located at 425 Eagle Bend Road in Clinton. Hear a motion to approve.
So moved. Second.
Have a motion and a second. Discussion. Jason, why don't you come and just kind of tell us what you're going to be doing and all that good stuff.
We hope to team up with some local vendors real soon to be selling their beer at our place. We won't have it on tap. We'll sell bottle and cans for the longest. If we get to the point where we can put it on tap, that's what we plan on doing. We plan on having events regularly for downtown. Small and simple, but just giving everybody a place to go and somewhere to be and do at home.
Are you just doing craft beer initially?
Wherever the market takes us.
Okay, all right. So you want to talk a little bit about the process as far as training your employees to check the IDs and?
Yes, so we're all getting the ABC, all of them are getting the ABC license. Every person that's of age to sell, 18 or older and serving, will have their ABC, as well as me and Danielle, both.
Okay. We say this to everybody that gets a permit, is that we take this very seriously as far as not selling
Absolutely.
to minors. And first offense has traditionally been $1,500. So I didn't want to surprise anybody. I don't think you'll have any problems, but just want to let you
Yes,
know.
sir.
So, any other questions?
None. Good luck.
We wish the best for you.
Thank you, guys.
Really do.
Appreciate you.
No further discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Beer Board meeting, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Regular meeting called to order. Roll call, please. Oh, I'm sorry, public hearing. Public hearing called to order. Roll call, please.
Councilman Quainer. Councilman
Here.
Foster. Councilman Harrell.
Here.
Councilman Gann.
Here.
Councilman Hatmaker.
Here.
Councilwoman Manus. Mayor Burton.
Here. Public hearing tonight is for ordinance number 696. This is the hotel motel tax. Anyone here would like to speak on that? Hear a motion to adjourn public hearing?
So moved.
Public hearing adjourned. Call to order regular meeting. Roll call, please.
Councilman Quainer.
Here.
Councilman Foster. Councilman Harrell.
Here.
Councilman Gann. Councilman Hatmaker.
Here. And he's here too.
Councilwoman Manus. Mayor Burton.
Here. Do you hear a motion for the approval of the agenda?
So moved. Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. The prayer this evening be given by Vice Mayor Gann. Please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let's pray. Our Father, we thank Thee for the blessings You share with us. We thank You for Your protections and the way You've taken care of us. At the same time, we pray for those in Kentucky and in the areas around us that have suffered loss of family and property and casualties. We pray that You be with them. Hopefully that we can give some help and solace to those people who've lost a lot. We're so blessed, Father, to live in this community and to be able to work with the people that live here. Lead, guide, and direct us now that we all may work together to make this a better place. For in Thy name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Did want to recognize one person here, Mayor Wimp Shootman. Very nice to see you. I know you've had some health issues in the past, and hopefully you pray that you're past all that and you're back on the road to recovery. It's always good to see you. Do I hear a motion to review and approval of minutes of the previous meeting dated April 28th, 2025?
So moved. Second.
Have a motion second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. This time we'll see any recognition of visitors or citizens. Please approach the podium and state your name and address, please.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Sean Trivett. Address is 594 Melton Hill Drive. As of today, just bought the house. And I'm here with my mom, Rosa Trivett. And we were actually here because we were hoping to get some resolution on a street numbering issue for her new house. About a little over a year ago, my parents started building a house on Blockhouse Valley Road. It was given the number 779A because it was between 779 and 781. But we're trying to get a number that doesn't have the letter on it because we've already been finding that's having a lot of confusion, both for everything from mail delivery to emergency responders. And so we weren't sure if this was the appropriate venue or if there was somewhere else we should go, but that is what we're hoping to try to get some kind of resolution to get a proper number for her new house.
Roger, would that be more of a 911?
911 does do the addressing in town, and which I can assure him, once they're given a number, it's put into our system downstairs, and if an emergency call is from that location, it will come up on the computer system automatically.
Have you had since you've been there, if you had a situation where emergency vehicle had to come?
Yes, we did. About 2 months ago or thereabouts, we had to call to report a break-in, and police responded, and there were 2 cars that came out, and one of them went to 779 by mistake, which, in the moment, it wasn't a major deal, but it made us realize if this were a life-threatening emergency, that could have been time that mattered if they went to the wrong house.
About the only solution you have, because you have several other people who have those numbers, and if you break them up, you could actually have 8 other houses past him have to get a new address. The A/B system is used throughout town. That's not the only location. I think we did tell the homeowner that going the other direction, the lower numbers, there were only 2 or 3 houses there, and if she could get her neighbors to agree that it was okay to change those addresses, then we could back up and give her I think 779. But right now, it would be forcing several people to change their address, which could be a problem. And this is being created throughout town where you're having these bigger lots that are being subdivided and houses built on them. And of course, for the emergency reasons, we want to keep them in the order they are. You don't want to skip a number or come back because we definitely won't be able to find them then.
Ma'am, did you have a, yes? Please state your name and address,
It's
too.
Rosa Trivett, and there are 2 numbers that are close by that are still available according to the maps that I was given. There's also a number just between Lynn Street and Lanes Bluff that is 705. The other number on the other side is 715, I believe is what it is, and then the other number on the other side of that one is 725. So already there's a discord there. There's a number, that doesn't match, okay? And I find that I should have a proper number for my home. I've been a citizen of this city for 44 years, and I just feel like, I've invested in this home, and I ought to be able to get a proper number, even if it's out of sequence. There's 2 available numbers out of sequence. There's already a precedent set that there's a number that's out of sequence there. So that's what I'm asking, just to get a regular number. And the neighbors that I've already talked to, that was suggested to me to speak to the other neighbors. They're not keen to that idea at all. They oppose it. So, I'm stuck up a hill.
Well, my recommendation to you is, and Roger, I would just contact Roger and work with him, and he can maybe get with 911 and come up with some type of solution. Okay?
Bill, how's that show up on the CAT? How does that show up? Should it show up just like?
An address, when it is entered in the system, when the addressing coordinator or staff recommends a change or we make a change, addressing coordinator provides it to me, we verify that everything is good with it, it goes back to her, and our GIS technician, who's also our planner, Preston Stokes, does the input into the GIS system, which is uploaded to the state GIS system. The state verifies accuracy in that system. They update the state GIS database, and then when somebody calls from that address and it populates on the screen downstairs, it will show 779A, and it will show on a map where that's at. Now, as far as the responders being able to find you, that's a human issue and not a addressing issue.
How often is that uploaded? Is that monthly or
Weekly, I believe.
weekly?
So is it just the A part that's bothering you?
It is, because it's a home, not an apartment, not a condominium. It is a home, okay? And so it should, I feel, should have a proper number to it. And I've had other issues. I've talked to the post office, and they say probably 98% of the time that I'm going to receive mail, it's going to go to my neighbor. I've already had the issue where there was a package dropped off at my address, and it belonged to my neighbor. Then the issue with when we had the break-in, the one car went to the other house instead. Comcast has told me that they don't recognize that as an A, because there's already a house with a 779. So I'm trying to get internet and all that, and that's also been an issue as well, for that. So that's why I feel like I should get a regular number for the home.
777 is available. She's 779.
What's the one before 777, though?
But what's the one before what?
If they're trying to stay in order, what is the one before the 777 number? They still be in
779
sequence?
is next door. And
I
then
can
there's
guarantee you,
available
if we got 'em out of
777.
order with 777, then our fire and police would have trouble, definitely more trouble trying to locate them. And I know there's some areas in South Clinton and North Clinton that those properties were already addressed when we annexed them, and that's why we got some of the issues there. But if you get the practice of skipping numbers, it would make it difficulty, especially for responders trying to get there in a hurry. So I'm not sure what would be the good solution. That's where we suggested if the neighbor would move one number, then we could put them and keep them in sequence. Now, I don't know if the question is, we could probably do that, but we'll probably have the other neighbor in here complaining that we've changed theirs, and then have to change everything on all their accounts. So it's an issue when we're getting into these properties being subdivided.
Is there another scenario in the city limits like this?
Bill, how many do we have?
There are numerous addresses throughout town that have A and B designations where
That aren't apartments or
that are not apartments that where this same situation exists. And we are trying to correct problems as we do find them. And granted, there are some out-of-sequence numbers on Blockhouse Valley, but I, being the Secretary Treasurer for 911, cannot recommend to the 911 board that we assign and approve an address out of sequence. And I don't think that the state system will accept it anymore like that.
Ultimately, the 911 board approves the addressing.
May I ask a question?
Please.
Like I said, I've lived here for 44 years at the address of 594 Melton Hill now. Prior to that, my address had been changed 3 times until it finally settled on 594 Melton Hill Drive. So I feel that this should not be laid back on me to go to my neighbor and discuss this with them and convince them, I guess, that they need to that we change the numbers. I feel like this is something that the city, or if it's 911 who does it, should approach those neighbors and say, hey, this is the situation, and therefore, we need to change the number. All it is changing that number. It's not going to affect them in any other way. And I know it's been done before. because it's happened to me a number of times in the old address that I lived in.
Well, like I said before, I think it'd be best if you let Roger and staff, Bill and 911, take a look at that, and maybe we can come back with some recommendations
That
for
would be
you.
great.
And you can
I'll
talk,
ask him.
Roger's gonna be out of town later this week, so maybe give us a
Sure.
couple of weeks, and you can call him, you can call me, that'd be
Great.
fine.
That would
Thank
be
you.
wonderful. Thank you so much. I
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Thank you. Anyone else? Communications from the mayor. I do have a proclamation for Asbury United Methodist Church. I'll just make it note that we received, and we recorded that. This is more of an annual thing for them, and I'm glad they're still around and doing what they're doing. So, also wanted to make sure everybody knew that May 31st is Freddie's birthday. He's going to be 69. And I think he's inviting, the family's inviting everyone that knows Freddie and wants to celebrate to come between 2 and 4 at the NHC there in Andersonville.
What was the date on
The 31st.
that? 31st.
69.
69, Big Frederico.
That's right. And also the hammocks, just want to remind everyone, it's going to have a grand opening on the 23rd and 24th. And, I'll tell people all the time, we've been asking for this type of stuff for a long time, and now it's time to support these restaurants that are coming in to this area, because we have some good ones now, and hopefully we'll have some more good ones down the road. Under committee reports, city school board report, Ms. Johnson.
Good evening. I'm short and sweet tonight. We're ending the school year, so Friday is the last day of school. It will be a half a day for students. We will be holding our sixth grade graduation on Thursday at 9 o'clock in the morning at Clinton Community Center in the gym, so we appreciate their support and cooperation in helping us get all of that set up. We've outgrown every other venue in Clinton, which is a good problem to have. So we look forward to celebrating our sixth graders on Thursday. Many thanks to the Clinton Fire Department who came this past week and did our annual fire cookouts. The aroma of the hamburgers cooking was lovely to smell at Clinton Elementary School, and we appreciate all of you all who were able to take time to come. And then finally, we're quickly working through third grade promotion retention data. That data dropped actually yesterday on a Sunday, and Dr. Jordan has spent the past day and a half looking through that, and we're beginning to work with parents on different pathways and different actions that we will take to ensure that their kiddos are taken care of. But other than that, teachers and students will be vacating on Friday for a fast and furious summer, and we'll be back at it at the end of July. So any questions for me?
Have a great summer.
I don't get a summer, but you can tell teachers have a good summer. It's no different for me, but I'll tell the teachers over that.
Thanks, Kelly. Do you get a summer, Scott?
Everybody should have budget amendment number 4 that was approved by the Board of Ed in your all's packet. My memo and the budget detail goes over that, but big picture, we budgeted for the summer learning program that we hold in June. I believe this is our 4th year with summer learning, and so we get that grant, and we've budgeted those expenditures. It's kind of budget neutral. We've had an increase in textbooks. We adopted science textbooks for 5 or 6 years, so we had to lay that in, that expenditure. Federal projects, there was no budget amendment. Reminder on federal projects, they're all reimbursement grants, so we get approval for the grant, we spend the money, we get reimbursed. And that approval goes to the State Department of Education. School Nutrition Fund, various few increases and decreases in revenues that netted out to $3,600 in the school nutrition program. So my recommendation is
Hear a motion for approval of budget amendment number 4.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilman Quainer?
Yes.
Councilman Foster?
Yes.
Councilman Harrell?
Yes.
Councilman Gann?
Yes.
Councilman Hatmaker?
Yes.
Councilwoman Manis and Mayor Burton.
Yes, budget amendment number 4 passes.
Thank you.
Kelly, anything early on? I know they released the voucher program last week, I believe. Do they have to notify, or do they notify the school when they?
No, they will notify us, we will just get notification when a records request comes from a private school. I don't anticipate that having a huge effect on us.
Yeah, I wouldn't
I
either.
think the majority of those that have submitted are already private school.
Yeah, okay. All right. Thanks again. Clinton Regional Planning Commission report, Councilman Hatmaker.
Thank you, Mayor. Clinton Regional Planning Commission met on Monday, May 12. There were 2 applicants for a consent agenda. Applicant 1, WB Realty, is requesting final plat approval for property located at 421 Eagle Bend Road. This property is currently Zone B2. Applicant number 2, Alan Glessner, is requesting final plat approval for property located at 343 Blockhouse Valley Road. This property is currently zoned R2. City planner explained that all the corrections and signatures for the plat have been received, and he recommended approval, which it was approved unanimously. We had some new business. Applicant 1, Anderson County Schools, is requesting amended site plan approval for property located at 425 Dragon Drive. Property's zoned R1. This is a simple amendment that changed up the site plan to add some additional handicap parking, so it was approved unanimously. New business item number 2, discussion and possible recommendation of a resolution to City Council requesting that the Tennessee Department of Economic and Community Development reclassify Planning Commission from a regional planning commission to a municipal planning commission. Scott, do you want to talk about that a little bit more?
Might be, Roger might be better to talk about it.
Probably, man.
Oh, my goodness, we're passing it.
Well, I know things on the surface, but not in depth.
The city has been a regional planning commission for several years, which actually takes our planning commission outside of our boundaries. And to my knowledge, we've really never used it. So to actually pull that back in, because with us being a regional, we're supposed to have a representative from outside that area, which mainly up along Longmire. So we're not seeing a real benefit for having it. Staff and I met with Gary Human with ECDC in Nashville, and they recommend that we go ahead and pull that back just to a municipal planning commission.
That's what I was going to say.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So Mayor Burton made a motion to recommend that approval, and it passed unanimously. Thank you. Thank you for that, Roger. There's a proposed 2025 zoning amendments for approval. Mayor Burton made a motion to recommend City Council for approval of the following zoning changes. Number 1, amend Section 5.0 provisions governing use districts by inserting a new subsection 5.7.13, uses permitted by special exception in B4 Interstate Business District. Amend Section 6.0 reference tables. You want me to read all this out? Thank you.
You have to.
So there were several to amend different subsections. Ultimately, we made a motion, it was approved, and it passed unanimously. That's all I think I have.
We'll do amendments, and they can.
As they
probably
move
sum it,
forward, yeah. They'll come back to council anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any questions for Brian? So, Matt, we're going to wait till we bundle all 10 of those and bring them to the amendments.
No, in this case, we walked out of there believing that you approved item 1 and 2, if you remember,
I think
and 7 and 8.
Right.
And so we've amended the resolution, and you should see it tonight in your packet to approve the B4 modifications as well as the permitted use schedules for storage yards. So you'll see
there it
that
is,
in ordinance
698.
698.
Okay, all right, thank you. Any other questions? Thanks, Brian. Clinton Utilities Board report, Councilman Harrell.
Thank you, Mayor. The financials for CUB remain strong in the electric, water, and sewer department. last meeting, the budget was presented. We'll vote on it in June, and it includes no rate increase for electric, water, or sewer. May get Chief Little's help on this. There's a memo, or there's a letter in your packet about fire hydrants, and after what happened in California, we obviously don't want that to happen here. Overall, we have very good system, or we wouldn't have the ISO rating we have, but over time, we want to try to improve that, and Chief Little identified almost 10 of the red tops, which are not the good flow.
Yeah, we're not supposed to use them actually to fight a fire or anything.
So I'd like for us to take some sort of action, I don't know if it'd be a motion or not, but just authorize Chief Little to work with Mr. Greg Jones at CUB for, and it'd be a long-term plan, because these are small diameter pipes, or there's elevation issues for this to begin with. So it's not a quick fix, but I don't know if there's grants out there, et cetera, or when they have to do something, fix it as they go. But I'd like to see us proactively make sure that it stays on everybody's radar.
Hear a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. I'm sorry, Jeff, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
I was just gonna say, yeah, I'll give you Greg, we got a good relationship, and he's pretty easy to work with. They usually will tell us as long as we're paying for it, they'll do anything
Yeah.
we want. But,
Well, there may be grants out there, I don't know all those answers,
yeah.
but
So it's okay.
is
it the infrastructure or the fire hydrant itself?
Some of them have some simple fixes, like could be as easy as going across the street. The problem is we're digging up a nice road maybe, get on a bigger main. Some of them are just on a 4-inch main that's a red top, and all we're supposed to do with those is just refill the truck. We're not supposed to actually pump off of it. But some of them are actually, like in Mariner Point, it actually is on the dead end of the loop on the red one going up the hill there at Masthead.
yep.
I think it's one that could go across the street and get better pressure, but where it's at the end of that loop. And
Well, that's why we need to be more proactive, because we just paved there last year, right?
sure.
That would've been a great time
Could have
to,
got ahead of that.
so that's my only point. I know this would be a long-term project, but let's make sure that we're looking at fire hydrants when we do things. And perhaps there's grants out there that help us with this.
Yeah, Greg may know a little bit more about that as far as, some hydrant grants, but I'll definitely check with him.
Thank you.
Well, I think there's a discussion, this might be something you might want to look into a little bit, discussion about the red tops. And I think in the city, I don't know what the number is, but it was like 27 total, 20-something total. It's like, I thought it was 27, but it might be give or take some.
Yeah, maybe a little less.
But I have a problem right now is, we're paying $50 a month on those hydrants that aren't working. So my belief is, quite frankly, we should be paying for those. I don't know what route, but my thought is the steamer, is that the top piece you're talking about?
It's the big cap.
And maybe instead of paying for that $50 a month for those that don't work, use that money to start replacing the steamer.
Sure.
If we can do that. I don't know what the cost is on that. If you can kind of look and let us know what that is, maybe next meeting, or when you talk to Greg and maybe negotiate. But, I mean, to me, that's just kind of common sense. I mean, why we keep paying for something that, it's like paying for cable and we don't use it. I mean,
I asked that very question at the meeting, and what I was told was the rate we're paying is so low compared to other utilities that it's a good deal even paying for stuff we're not using.
does that make you feel better?
Chief Little?
It doesn't me, but
I'm trying, guys. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
David, don't say anything. Don't say,
Just keep my mouth shut.
Keep your mouth shut. All
I
right.
knew where that came from.
Any other questions for Rob? Thank you.
Thank you.
We don't have any other board and committee reports. General government report, Mr. Houck.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple update on some projects. The traffic signal at Mariner Point and South Severs, it was advertised for bid on May the 5th. The bid opening is scheduled for June 10th, and we hope to bring back an awarded bid at the June meeting. We had Mr. Hedden in here last month on 515 Greenwood Drive, who's his neighbor. Just going to update you on this. A stop work order with a requirement for a geotechnical inspection and design recommendation for the corrective action is to be obtained within 30 days. So that's been submitted. The property owner did give me a call. We talked about it. The stop work order is really the house and the bank. They can't do anything to it. But he wanted to make sure it was okay to go on property and clean up the gravel and the piles of dirt. So we told him it's definitely, he could go in and do that. Waste Connections, which I think we've talked about at several meetings. We met with the Director of Operations last Tuesday. They had several proposals they wanted to talk to us about, and probably the biggest change in trying to correct some of these problems is actually a route change in the days that garbage picked up. The routes that they're using right now have not been changed since 1997. And over that 20-plus year period, we've added over 750 additional stops. They pick up about 100 cans an hour, so we've added almost a day since the route's been changed. Tuesdays and Fridays were very light in the areas they picked up, where you had, I think, Thursdays was a huge area. So what they will propose a new route plan that actually equalizes everything out. Once we get it put in place, and we're proposing to actually start notifying people the week of June 2nd and then go into effect June 16th. We'll do this through media, through the radio station, social media, and actually if your house is getting changed, the route, they'll actually 2 weeks in advance put a sticker on your card letting you know that your date's will change. Not everybody changes. So we're hoping.
forget.
It does, once you see the map, it does make it look more efficient in the route they
Well, I'm
run.
sure they need that for their staffing model too, so.
Do what?
They need that for their staffing model.
Yes.
I'm a creature of habit.
It'd be great for them.
Well, yeah, I mean, if they bid per the original route, right? When they rebid the
The service.
service.
Probably.
I'm just curious what the change, because it was working, then it stopped working.
Well, one of the big things we've changed, I guess 3 years ago, was actually the automated pickup, where they just have the one driver. Probably when they bid the original one, we were back to a driver and two guys on the back of the truck. Of
And
course-
somebody was sick, that guy in the back probably drove, and, now if it's just one, that kind of puts a wrench in things if somebody's causing sick.
Yeah.
Roger, I think it'd be a good idea. On our website, we've got a pickup schedule for leaf and what is it, leaf and brush. Let's put one in there for garbage too.
We can, and like I said, we'll actually have a map too to go along with the changes that'll show it and hope. Like I said, it may take a day or two to get used to, but it's not a major change for most people.
They felt pretty confident this will fix the issues?
I think it'll definitely, I think, make it more efficient. I think it will. Just because it keeps them pretty much in the same part of town instead of jumping around to different locations.
I know we've asked before, when's the contract up for renewal?
3 years.
3 years, okay.
Community Center Bowling Alley. Sealed proposals were received on May 7th, 2025. After review and analysis of the proposal, it is our recommendation to accept the proposal and award the renovation contract to Brunswick Bowling in the total amount of $370,548.
Hear a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? So what's the scope of this project? What are they replacing?
I'm going to let JB talk.
Basically, back end to front end, like new furniture, well, the lanes and the approaches will be the same, but the ball returns, the gutters, new gutter guards, new masking that covers what's in there now where it says lane 1, lane 2, that'll be different, and then the whole back end will be different.
Is the
So
scoring
all
going to be
mechanical, huh?
Is the scoring going to be automated or?
Yes, and automated scoring.
Automated scoring.
For league and rec.
And automated gutters and everything.
Yeah, it'll be totally good.
It's up to date.
Well, 1978 was the last time it was renovated. Besides the lanes, as JB said, the lanes are in still good shape. We have them usually once every 4 to 5 years sanded, any problems. So we've kind of, the lanes have been taken good care of. But like I said, the rest of the equipment, we can't even hardly find replacement parts for most of the equipment's with it. So it didn't. And mechanics. And probably my biggest surprise with this, I think it's the first thing that we bid in the last year that came in under budget. It came in at a good price.
Speaking of what you're talking about, would there be any market for these parts? Maybe be other people looking for it.
We have been approached by a couple places in Knoxville that still have these old AMF lanes that May make us an offer for them.
We may get some money back.
Actually, some of the parts that we're using now, Sevierville Community Center had the same machines, and about 15 years ago, we bought the parts from them when they changed out.
Just recycle them.
JB, how many people participate in bowling? You know, I mean, just top of your head.
We do pretty good on birthday parties and stuff, especially in the winter. We try to put in that report some of the revenues. I don't know that right offhand.
Okay, it's okay.
But
You
you
still
have,
a
you,
Tuesday- you still have a Tuesday league. don't
you have
We
leagues,
have
right?
2 leagues,
Yep.
Tuesday morning, Thursday evening. I think we got 6 in the Tuesday morning league, and we got 8 or 9 in the Thursday night league. I think we'll get more.
It's teams, not people.
Right.
They've been telling me that if we change and get this new system, there'll be some more teams come from other places.
Yeah.
I keep hearing Oak Ridge is closing down, so we'll get some more traffic from Oak Ridge if they close it. So I think, if I remember correctly, most of the time, I think our revenue's up pretty good on both swimming and bowling right now. So we're doing pretty good bowling wise, even though, older lanes.
Like Kelly was saying, Blaze uses it too.
Yeah.
Good deal.
Do you rotate like the balls, bowling balls on a regular basis, or are they from 1978?
No. Unfortunately, we have some people that drop them off and give them to us. But I think I bought
Those things will
a
last
couple
forever.
different times, the little bowling balls for the little kids. We've done that, but we probably need to do that too, is buy some new bowling balls and change those out.
Sounds good. Thank you, JB.
Thank you.
Good job.
The only other thing I had, this was kind of information. No,
Do we make,
Yeah, we-
yeah.
yeah,
Any
yeah.
more discussion?
No,
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
sorry about that.
It's all right.
Ahead of time. One other thing I had to say before I defer to Chris, I know we've had several calls and complaints, and y'all too, on speeding, which one thing, the police department, and I want to, give kudos to Chief Campbell and patrol. From January 1 to May 31st, our patrol did 387 stops. Now, I don't necessarily give a citation, some of them may have been warnings. But from April 1 till this morning, we did 670 stops. So our patrols picked up quite a bit in the neighborhoods and on speeders and.
Did the gentleman that came, was it last meeting?
Mr. Rosenbaum?
Did they pursue anything
They
with
did.
our
They
traffic
got-
calming?
They got
system?
right at the 50% number of signatures needed to start the traffic study.
Okay.
So we've initiated the traffic study. The only thing, our traffic engineering is retiring in 2 weeks. So Houston Darty with Cannon and Cannons will be assigned to somebody else to work on that.
Okay.
So I got to defer to Chris for the financial.
Thank you, Roger. I'll start with the finance report. Nothing really notable for the month of April. Revenues are doing well. We've collected 100% of what we budgeted for property tax, which is always a good sign. We always budget with a little bit of a delinquency factor, but we've collected what we budgeted and a little more. Local option was another good month, which I'll go over there. And expenditures are being held right at the proper percentages, and folks are staying in line with their budgets. I'll shift over to the local option. We have 3 more months left to go, so I look for about $1.5 million more in revenue to come in, but we had a $474,000 month, which was about 1% over last year, same month, which that was a good month then, so, strong sign there. I think that's all I need to go over at the moment, unless you want me to do the budget amendment now.
You got your budget amendment in your ordinance too?
I do. I didn't know if we needed to do that if it's separate. Okay.
Go ahead and do the amendment.
Okay. So, do you have any questions on the monthly financials?
Any questions for Chris?
Okay. I've got budget amendment number 3 for you. It's $2.104 million, and basically why it's $2 million is I want to recognize the high end of the expenditures on the two projects. One is the pool project. You know, we kind of waited to see what we're going to end up spending by the end of the year, and so I projected that out to be $1 million to be safe. And also on the TAP grant, we need to have the budget in place so we can actually properly have the expenditures. Conversely, I'm budgeting the potential or the revenues that are coming in to offset those. So that's why the budget amendment is a large number. It's basically $2 million of the $2 million one is those two grants. The rest of those are just recognizing some increase in property taxes, but also have to show where I'm having to decrease the expectation on the 3 in lieu ofs by, $32,000 total in those. So I'll answer any questions you have if you could vote on that one.
Hear a motion to approve budget number 3.
So moved.
Budget
Second.
amendment number 3, I'm sorry. Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilman Quainer?
Yes.
Councilman Foster?
Yes.
Councilman Harrell?
Yes.
Councilman Gann?
Yes.
Councilman Hatmaker?
Yes.
Councilwoman Manus and Mayor Burton.
Yes, budget amendment number 3 passes. Any other questions for Chris? Thanks, Chris.
All right.
Anything else for Roger?
Got a couple of things. One is I keep getting asked about the turn lane at Sulphur Springs.
Once again, that's TDOT. We
Yeah.
requested it. They denied it, but said they would make some safety improvements up through there. We did notice they did a one call for that area locate for a widening, so we don't know if maybe we're back on track. Amanda Snowden out of Region 1 actually, I guess it was Thursday, called Bill and emailed Bill, and the project manager is supposed to give us a call. Has she, Bill?
She did, but she didn't have any information on the turn lane.
So we requested,
We're doing what we can do.
we can do and all we can do there, yes.
Got asked by a former law enforcement person about, with what happened in New Orleans, being able to block off our downtown area with like barriers while they're doing construction down there. Is there any way to have holes that would hold big poles that they lock down to keep somebody from getting a vehicle down there to do damage?
I did check on that, and we had talked about it originally. To put the electronic ones is quite a bit expensive, but we think we can go back with a contractor and actually add some that could be manually put in during our festivals. Probably won't want to do it on Main, but probably do it on Market and Market at Cullum or Market at the railroad tracks in that area. Yeah, we think we can add some of those pretty easily.
And then the pool got mentioned, update on the pool and the armory.
The Armory, nothing yet. Everything's been signed. They just not gave us a work schedule. The pool, Christy Hicks sent an email out this morning. Of course, big thing with the pool, since we met last time, I think it's rained 14 out of the last 18 days, and considerable rain, so that's kind of got them a little bit behind. But she is saying the floor, this week actually, that they'll be working on the concrete inside the building and finishing the flooring. Next week, the electrical, plumbing, painting, outside, inside the toilets, all will be done next week. In the week of June 2nd, they'll be installing the new fence, the new handrails, and seeding and straw and everything. So probably about a week behind from the last update we gave you.
Thank you.
What was the other question?
That was all of it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Roger? Thanks, Roger. Under ordinances and resolutions, first reading of new ordinances. This is the ordinance number 697 for the fiscal year 2025-2026 budget. Let me go ahead and get a motion in a second.
So moved. Second.
Have a motion and a second. Chris, would you like to give our?
I can. I think
Okay.
we were just talking. Of course, it's a balanced budget, revenues and expenditures. Just some of the highlights that we kind of dealt with this year. One, as we talked about, the reappraisal year. We thought we'd get our new certified rate sometime this month. Actually, it will be the 1st of July before we get it. So we'll have to pass the budget without setting a tax rate. We'll probably do that at the July meeting. Of course, we'll get the recommendation from the state that'll balance that out. More than likely, right now, we're at 86 cents. More than likely, we'll probably drop to somewhere between 45 and 50. so it'll be a significant drop in our rate. Currently, 1 penny on the tax rate equals $40,638. With our hotel motel tax we just increased, we estimate that about an additional $90,000 in revenue. Payroll, once again, this is the third year of our 3-year payroll plan, so we're doing a 6%. Again, this year we did 8 2 years ago, 6 last year, and 6 this year. So as that's probably the most significant amount of pay increases the city's done in many years. Contributions to TCRS, we got the recommended rate of 2.67, and we've kind of always been in the tradition of putting more in than we needed to. So this year we put in 4%, which is a little more than the recommended rate. Pretty much besides that, it's a pretty straightforward budget.
Any questions for Roger?
And just remember, second reading will be in June. We'll be tweaking it a little bit between now and June with some of the figures, so there may be a few minor changes that we bring back for the June reading.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Quainer?
Yes.
Councilman Foster?
Yes.
Councilman Harrell?
Yes.
Councilman Gann?
Yes.
Councilman Hatmaker?
Yes.
Councilwoman Manis? Mayor Burton?
Yes, ordinance number 697 passes on first of 2 readings. Ordinance number 698, amending ordinance number 680, zoning code of the city of Clinton. Hear a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Matt, is there anything you'd like just to give us cliff notes on that, real, as far as what we had talked about in the meeting, a little more detailed than?
Sure. Essentially, the first 2 items on this is about allowing, under special exception, multifamily dwellings in the B4 zone, which is the interstate district. So that's the 2 that would cover that allowance. The next 2 is essentially recognizing there is no difference in storage yards depending on where they're located. And so it's allowing storage yards to be consistent depending on whether they're retail, wholesale, or for business, otherwise commercial use. Under special exception, once again, storage yards can be allowed, is being proposed to be allowed in B2, B3, and B4 zones. And that's essentially it.
Any questions for Matt? Thanks, Matt. Roll call, please.
Councilman Quainer?
Yes.
Councilman Foster?
Yes.
Councilman Harrell?
Yes.
Councilman Gann?
Yes.
Councilman Hatmaker?
Yes.
Councilwoman Manis? And Mayor Burton?
Yes, ordinance number 698 passes first of 2 readings. Ordinance number 699, this is the fiscal year 2024-2025 budget amendment.
So moved.
So, a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second, discussion?
I was just going to say, this formalizes the budget amendments that the city does and that the school does. It amends our original budget ordinance of number 690 to appropriate those funds formally into our budget.
Okay. Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Councilman Quainer?
Yes.
Councilman Foster?
Yes.
Councilman Harrell?
Yes.
Councilman Gann?
Yes.
Councilman Hatmaker?
Yes.
Councilwoman Manis? And Mayor Burton?
Yes, ordinance number 699 passes on first of 2 readings. Under second and final reading of ordinances, ordinance number 696, hotel motel tax. Hear a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilman Quainer?
Yes.
Councilman Foster?
Yes.
Councilman Harrell?
Yes.
Councilman Gann?
Yes.
Councilman Hatmaker?
Yes.
Councilwoman Manis? And Mayor Burton?
Yes, ordinance number 696 passes final reading. No resolutions. Any old business before us? Any new business? Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Meeting is adjourned.